I'm a Dornier pilot in the Navy, and sailing is something that I've indulged in ever since I joined the academy. But much before that, when I was a kid, when I was still in second standard, I saw these images of a voyage of Trishna, which was done by the army, an army expedition which went around the world. And when I saw these images, they were so powerful that they stayed in my mind ever since I was a kid. So when I cleared 12th and I had these options of becoming an engineer or a doctor, I cleared both the exams. I still decided to join the Navy because it somehow was taking me back to the sea.
Okay.
And then it did help that my father was in the Navy. So I grew up in coastal towns. I was always just about 100 meters from the sea or some water body. So yeah, I joined the Navy, and then as a cadet I picked up sailing as a hobby, and I kept at it. Whenever there would be a Saturday, Sunday after I became an officer, I would still go and sail while others decided to do other things. Then I started racing, and I started winning club level races, and the Navy took me and trained me and put me in their team. So it went on and on and on. And there was a stage when I had to stop this dinghy racing, the small boat racing, because your body starts changing and you can't keep at it for a long time. So I thought that would be the end of my sailing career, but what happened was that a new avenue opened up, which was ocean sailing. And ocean sailing needs maturity, it needs a lot of skills that dinghy sailing doesn't need. Well, that's how it started. I got to sail with Professor Radhakrishnan, who was the son of Sir C.V. Raman. Then I got to sail a Volvo boat, Open 70, one of the fastest boats in the world. Got to sail from Cochin to Bombay. And Commander Donde, who was planning to circumnavigate the planet alone, he was looking for an assistant. And I volunteered. I got to help him. He stopped in 4 ports. And during his voyage, the Navy asked me if I could do the same voyage, that is the circumnavigation, without stopping anywhere. So I quickly said a yes. And then I put myself through the paces. I had Commander Donde to help me. And yeah, that's how it started.
And was there a reason that they wanted you to do it without the stops?
Yeah, that was the next level of difficulty. Commander Donde went around the world. He stopped at 4 places. He became the 175th person in the world to do something like this. And that's a big thing for our country because we don't have a history of ocean sailing. Commander Donde for the first time was doing something big, and he was doing it without any experience. As in, the country did not have any experience to give him. So once we knew that, it's a success, there was no point in losing that experience. So we had to do something else, which had to be something bigger. And that bigger thing had to be done by somebody else. You can't have one person doing everything over and over again, right? So they asked me, because I had a lot of experience working on this boat. I had a lot of experience sailing with Commander Donde during his training voyages. And I immediately said a yes.
And so how did it go? Like how long did the preparation take, and what sort of stuff did you have to prepare for?
Well, I would say my preparation in a way started in March 2009 when I joined the boat. At that time I had no inkling that I would be doing a non-stop. Yeah. But my preparation started then, because from that day I was working on the boat and I really didn't know what to do. Okay, I was so green, I didn't know what to do. So I would do the only thing I knew, which was cleaning the boat. Every day I'd just get up and go to the boat and clean her up, and then over a period of time I started making lists of the things that needed to be done. So I started getting people to do those things. And as they did all these things, I learned from them and I started working on the boat myself. Handling the engines, servicing the generators, working on the ropes, etc., etc. So that's how it started. But I sailed for something like 25,000 miles on this particular boat. Did a lot of short voyages. I sailed from Goa to Brazil under Commander Donde. And at Brazil I took over the boat and I got the boat back to Cape Town with one crew, across the Atlantic with one crew. And from Cape Town I sailed all the way back to Goa alone. So that was the real training that happened. Other than that, I lived on the boat for about 11 months before the voyage. And I got to learn a lot about the boat in that 11 months that I stayed there. Not just about the boat, about myself,
Exactly.
Yeah, the biggest challenge I realized was not how to repair the engine or how to maintain the generator or how to...
How to be alone?
No, the biggest challenge was how to cook. Because I didn't know how to cook, and even my body needs fuel. And if it doesn't get fuel even once a day, the next day I'll not be in a position to do anything, and then the boat might land up in an emergency situation.
Right.
Solitude was not a problem for me because I love being alone. So I kind of enjoyed the experience.
And was there any other physical aspects that you had to prepare yourself for before, like
Personally?
nervousness or- Yeah.
You see, working on the boat for 3 years gave me all the muscles. It developed the kind of muscles that I needed for this particular project. When you're at sea, you really don't need legs because you don't walk more than 10 meters or something. So your legs grow weak. What you need is a lot of upper body strength. And that came working on the boat. You are hoisting a sail that is 100 kilos up by 25 meters, which is a 7-story building. just using your pure muscles, and you develop those kind of muscles.
And were there any particular instances that you weren't prepared for that you had to deal with? I'm sure there were. Is there anything big that sticks out?
Yeah, there was one thing that I was really not prepared for. I was crossing the Pacific and I ran out of popcorn. I didn't think that I would consume popcorn at that rate.
And how did you keep up with the rest of the thing?
Well, I thought I should finish my voyage, go to Chile or something and pick up some popcorn, but I trained my mind to overcome that loss of popcorn.
And like, what's next for you? Any other challenge?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want this to die down. It will be very wrong if we just stop it here and we say that we've done a circumnavigation, so we don't need to spread this anymore. The idea of the circumnavigation was not to gratify a wish that I had. It was not to gratify my desire. The idea of the circumnavigation was that it was the Navy's idea that images of this voyage, that the experience of this voyage to go to our country, which really doesn't understand what it means, what the sea tastes like, what it smells like, what it feels like. Okay, so these images had to go into the interiors of the country. People had to know that there was this huge ocean that was out there, which we could use, which we need to protect. And if we don't do these two things, then somebody else will, as we have experienced from our history, right? So we have succeeded to a very great extent there. This voyage has created more than 400 million impressions over a matter of 6 months or so. And that's tremendous for a country that hardly has any kind of ocean sailing experience or whatever. And for a country where people are known to be sea blind, right? So we need to push this further. This boat that I sailed in has sailed out from Goa last month. She's headed to Cape Town with Commander Donde as a skipper, 3 new crew, and they are being trained and they are being given an experience. From Cape Town, she will further sail to Rio. At Rio, somebody else will take over as skipper, right, like we did last time, and then the boat will be sailed all the way back to India. So we are looking at 17,000 miles of experience multiplied by 4 people. Okay, so that's you're building. And hopefully, what I'm hoping is that somebody has done a circumnavigation with stop, somebody has done a circumnavigation without stop. What's left is somebody races around the world alone or maybe in a team. Takes part in these high-profile races like the Volvo Ocean Race, the Vendée Globe, the Open 40 races or whatever, the Barcelona World Race, etc. So yeah, I hope at least in the next generation we have a sailor who's racing these boats.
But that's not for you right now?
You never know, if an opportunity comes, I won't mind grabbing. But if you need to have a team to race, I can't do it alone. Volvo is like a 10-man team. At least one thing that I've proven is that if somebody puts in money, he will reap dividends. Okay, the Navy hardly invested any money in this because it was totally an internal thing. There was no, there was publicity that was done, but there were no hoardings that were put all across the country. That kind of money didn't go into publicity. Still, we had 400 million impressions. Okay, and if somebody wants to put in money into a sailboat, he will get his returns.
And what keeps you going? Where does, like I said earlier, where does the sense of adventure come when you keep pushing yourself?
I think it's there in everybody. But the problem is when somebody is given an opportunity that could change his life. Okay, some opportunity that's so big that it will just turn his life upside down. He decides just to go to office, sit in his chair and come back to his home. I think that's there in everybody, just that I decided to take the opportunities as they came.